Hey everyone, David here at Finish Line Factory, and I'm here at the Boca Raton Concourse de Elegance. There's a lot of really nice cars out here. Vintage Porsches, Ferraris. Actually, I think I'm looking at, is that a 330 or a 365? I don't know. You know what? Let's check it out. Okay. I guess this is a 275 GTB. Look at that.
Different.
Yeah, so it's got that camback tail, got a combination tail lamp, the quad exhaust tips. This is really beautiful.
It's an important announcement.
I wish I would leave the windows down.
If you have an automobile with a ribbon on it, you need to report to your automobile immediately.
So this is a 1966 Ferrari 275 GTB coupe.
We're going to begin the award ceremony very
I think this is
soon.
kind of similar to the 250 GTO.
Have ribbons on their cars.
This is really nice.
Be with them.
One of the rare steel body 275 GTB twin cams with a torque tube. There's only been 3 owners. Look at that. 1966, 3 owners. Over here, 67 Ferrari 330 GTS. This is what I thought that was. So this is a GTS Roadster. Look at that. And over here, the Dino 246. And a lot of Ferrari people, they actually don't like the Dinos parking with them because they're like, oh, it's not a real Ferrari. But I mean, it was made by Ferrari. So what more do you need? Here to the 365 GT4 BB Berlinetta Boxer. Oh yeah, I saw this at the Miami Concourse, so I was right. This is a Berlinetta Boxer. And this is a 365 GTB4 Berlinetta. There you go. Yeah, see, the Miami Concourse didn't have all these signs out, so it's very difficult to tell what they were. Very large intake manifold. So the Berlinetta Boxer, I think what's interesting about them is that they are, no, it's the BBI. The Berlinetta Boxer injected, it is fuel injection. So this is that large plenum, but underneath I believe are actually carburetors. So, pretty interesting. This one's actually kind of rare. This is a Pantera De Tomaso GTS. So I've seen a lot of Pantera De Tomasos, but I haven't seen a whole lot of GTS models. So you get the extra wide body fenders, the extra large fender arches in the rear. The interior is a little different, right there. Gated manual shifter. And back here I think is a Ford V8 with a transaxle. So the V8's stuffed all the way back there. So working on it is as much of a pain in the ass as you think it is. Look at that. There's the transmission, cooling fan there, helps move air through the engine bay and all that. I wonder why they didn't put much back here. You know, maybe they could have put like a cover here so you can use it for storage or something. But no, just a big, large, empty space. Okay, what do you know? My questions are answered. So that actually is supposed to go into that space, and you can use it as like a trunk area. But every time I saw any Pantera, this was just completely empty and exposed, so I guess they could show off the engine. I've never seen this before, so I don't know how. But there you go. 1928 Bentley 4.5 liter Le Mans Sports. Look at that. This is really nice. I mean, look at this. So this is a Bentley coupe. No, it's a Roadster.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr.
It's that large steering wheel. There's a speedometer. Let's see. There's the ignition vents there. Look at this. It's got a lamp there with a light bulb. The hood is held down with straps. And they're spring-loaded as well. That's pretty interesting. You don't see cars like this anymore. That's for sure.
What a nice hand. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. You
heard Jay say this is the Buick muscle car. This was kind of in the GM hierarchy of cars. This was the top of the line of the muscle cars and more of a gentleman's express, for lack of a better
Well,
term.
you know, it's so funny, the GTO got all the credit for being a 389, but this is a 401.
And nail head.
Yeah, and actually
They're a
got
Hudson
more,
limo,
more
right?
horsepower. So I
Oh,
just
they got
want to
all
say, again, this is not based on...
Comes B5 to 4, 29.
Michael, thank you very much.
Like your wheels, they match my
Congratulations, Michael.
Let me
Jay,
know when you're
thank you
gonna
very
sell
much as well.
Thanks, you guys.
57S Coupe by
Check this out.
is brought today by Richard Workman.
This is a Vector W8,
You'll see the car
one of the
with
few
all
remaining
the
cars.
answers here.
So this was supposed to be an American supercar, but didn't quite make it.
The owner of
Look at this thing, it's
fabulous
wild.
automobile.
So it's kind of got like a shape like a Diablo, but it's got pop-up headlights. It's got headlights there, so there's two large lights there. It's just wild. Look at this thing. Look at this. So there's a speaker in there. It's got Lambo-style doors. Look at the bolstering on the seats. And it's got a pretty Spartan interior. It doesn't have all the crazy swoops and luxury features. This is made for speed. This is interesting. I'm gonna ask if I can open up the other side. All right. So Mark's gonna open up the driver's door for us.
This is
Gonna
called
take a look.
a Cervase, which is a lower
Look at that.
body than a standard Type 57.
Oh man, so there's a screen there.
How low the car is to the ground. There
Look
were
at that.
only a handful of these cars made. They're just
There's a large
incredibly
airbag.
fabulous automobiles.
There's buttons on the
And
seats
this
probably for making
was
adjustments.
coachwork by Gangloff.
This is cool. Thank you.
Gangloff. Gangloff is the
There you go. So this is brought up by Haggerty, the insurance company.
Fabulous car.
This is
All
beautiful.
right, ladies and gentlemen.
So it's got vents all over the place. It's got a vent there for relieving high pressure air from the wheel well. This vent points outward. It actually takes air from under the car and spits it off from the side. This vent probably goes to like some cooling fan or something. And it's got one of the first adjustable dual element wings. Look at that. So to power the car, Vector made an aluminum version of the small block Chevy. So the small block Chevy was originally just an iron block, so they converted it, they recast it as an aluminum block, and then put twin turbos on it. So this had a power output of 625 horsepower. Now, back in the day, this car came out in '91, and it had a price tag of $495,000. For comparison, a Ferrari F40 had a price tag of $80,000. So today, this car would be $2 million. This was the hypercar of its day. So this car is amazing. All right, over here we have a 1934 MGPA Airline.
This is the
Look how
car
tiny
that was
this thing
used as
is.
the foundation for the
What the
Shelby
hell? So I'm
Cobra.
sure it's probably powered by like an
This is the car
inline
that
4 or
they
something.
brought into the United
This is
States.
one of 28 that was built
Chevy
and one of
put a
15
V8
that's
engine
left.
in the car, and the
So yeah,
rest,
it's
of
got
course,
4
is
cylinders.
history. But
It's
this
got
is the
36
car in its
horsepower, and it's
purest
still on the
form.
original engine.
And if I'm not mistaken, is
Man, this thing is tiny. People were just smaller back then. Seriously.
So this is the
at
first
that.
time anybody is getting to see this car publicly.
Wow.
These are
It's even got a
beautiful
sunroof.
automobiles.
Hey, look at that.
This is a Bristol engine in it.
So over
which
here
is
it's got wire
essentially
wheels.
A BMW engine because Bristol
Really
bought
nice. Look at
after
the
World War
spare
II
tire on
under
the back.
license,
We don't do that anymore
producing
because,
a
well,
motor,
the
which is
sun
a
rots the
BMW
tire, and then
design.
when you need the spare tire, it's
Very,
useless.
very handsome styling on
Wow,
this
look at this thing.
automobile.
This must be fun to park. So they're actually giving out awards right now. That's what you hear over the PA. I actually heard them say that there's a Bugatti Type 57 out here that actually won an award. So I want to find that car because the Bugatti Type 57 is one of the most beautiful cars ever made. It's one of my favorite cars. So let's look around and see if we can find it. All right, guys, check it out. This is the Bugatti Type 57. So this was produced between 1934 and 1940 in France. It's got a 3.3-liter inline-8 engine producing 135 horsepower, and you can go for a top speed of 95 miles an hour. And looking how close the steering wheel is to you, I don't think I want to go much faster than that. It's got a manual transmission. Look at that. It's got the clock there, speedometer. I think that's the, is that the rev counter there? I think so. The RPM gauge, tachometer, whatever you want to call it. Look at this. Suicide opening doors. There's the door handle. Check that out. Opens up outward like that. And this one, blue ribbon. I'm not sure what it was for. Doesn't say. Major award. So, hey, you know what? This is a Concourse winning car. Look at this thing. It's beautiful, and it runs too. So, hey, check this out. Check this out. Those are the tail lights. That's all you get. Those little things, and it's got a five tailpipes. I'd really like to see what it looks like under there, because people give you. People make fun of you for having like 2 or 4 tailpipes. This thing has 5. They just didn't care. This is amazing. I imagine the spare tire probably goes there. It's got a... So this car has a weight of about 2,000 pounds. So this is actually lighter than a Miata, and it's got just about the same power. What else we got? What else we got? Man, this is just awesome. Everything is mechanical. Everything is just... Look at that, real wood, beautiful leather. I imagine, I wonder if this is all original. I really doubt it. Oh cool, it's got a split window. So now, this isn't the Type 57 SC, which I kind of wish it was, because, man, those are extremely rare. But I think the Type 57 SC, that's one of the most beautiful cars ever made, and it's had the slope roof that goes from the top all the way back. Unfortunately, that's like a extremely rare, and it's like a $30 million car. So to see one of those would just blow my mind. So this car has skirts in the rear, so that helps to block the air from entering the wheel well and helps to improve aerodynamics. And look how far down it goes. So to change the tire, you take these 2 pins out, and the thing comes off, and then you can work on the tire. And of course, it's all black. Look at this. This is actually the radiator. This whole thing is actually the radiator itself, and that's the radiator cap. So that's pretty interesting. See that? It's got the bumper here, and it's kind of spring-loaded. This is amazing. Beautiful car. Thank you for bringing it out. Let's see if I can get in front of it and get a shot of the front of this car. You got to see this thing. All right. Well, there you go. Look at that. It's really bold styling. Look at this, isn't this beautiful? Hey Stuart.
Those things are so pretty.
Right?
It's a lovely automobile. Thank you for saving it, and thank you for bringing it to a great car.
All right, so Stuart has finally woken up and is so gracious to join us at 2 p.m.
Because you forgot to call me?
Because I forgot to call him. So, yeah, welcome to the show. We have the Bugatti Type 57 right here. Caught it moving. So, yeah, you know what? This is what we're going to do. I've already gone through the whole show. So we're going to find cars that you like, and we're going to talk about those cars.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Let's do it. All right, so over here, we've got the 1967 Marcos GT, and this thing is just beautiful. Stuart likes it, and Stuart's going to talk about it.
I do really like this car. If you've ever played any of the Gran Turismos, this car was in that game. So, just to give you a description of how low this car is low. I'm standing next to the car, okay? I'm 5'9". And that's
just above your waist.
Just above my waist. This thing is low. I forget what engines these had. I think they were 4 cylinders. I'm not entirely sure, but Marcos was a British company and they built race cars. And this was like their, hey, we can build a road car. So it's all, you know, these cars were basically factory-ready racers, which is really cool. I love the color.
Kind of the design of the future at that time. It's a 4-door hardtop car.
Wow. These things are really, really cool, man. Marcos went out of business, I think in the 1980s, 1990s. There was an attempt to bring them back in the early 2000s, but that never came to fruition. They created a concept. They created a new Marcos GT concept, and it was supposed to have the V8 from a Mustang Terminator. So it was supposed to have a supercharged 4-valve modular 4.6-liter V8. And it just never came to fruition.
The car is in its resting position.
Now, the interesting thing about these is that they're made out of plywood.
What? They're made out of plywood?
They're made out of plywood. It's a monocoque chassis, but it's made out of plywood.
Wow. And you know what? It weighs 1,500 pounds with 140 horsepower. So this is
it has a Cosworth engine, it says here. So yeah, that means it is a 4-cylinder. So it's probably
800 pounds lighter than a Miata.
Yes. And probably Cosworth, 140 horsepower. I'm betting Coventry Climax. It's probably got a Coventry Climax engine in it, an FWA or FWB. Maybe an FWC.
The next award is for
Wow.
So Lotus used to use the same engines. Coventry Climax
1957
engines.
dual-gear Hemi
And
D500
Cosworth,
convertible
I said in the video at the Elliott, Cosworth was born out of Lotus. Mike Costin started Cosworth. So another point on how Colin Chapman and his Lotus cars influenced the rest of the world. Buenos dias. Welcome back.
43 of the
1953 Porsche 356 Pre-A.
All the rest were right-hand drive cars.
This thing is so cool. Now, remember when we went to the Elliott Museum, I was talking about the differences between late 356s and early 356s?
Really appreciate
So
you raising
that
such a
beehive taillight.
wonderful car. Perfect example of a Bentley.
Ladies, now
Those
and
beehive
gentlemen,
taillights.
for the final 2 awards of the day. We've been
So
waiting
that's
all day
one of the
to
ways you can tell an A or a B from a C.
on one automobile.
So 356 Pre-A's had the single grille, vertical, right? And they were referred to as bent windshield cars because the windshields are sort of bent back, right?
With a sidecar.
So these are essentially the same 4-cylinder, horizontally opposed, carbureted, similar in type to the Volkswagen Beetle, but not a Volkswagen Beetle. Like I said before, if you say it has a Beetle engine, I'm going to find you. Gorgeous interior on this. I'm really digging this. That old school banjo steering wheel, the center display stack. So no, this is actually a very lightly optioned car. There's no radio. There's no heater controls that I can see, no like adjustable heater. It does have an ashtray, which I guess is good. But this is a very, very basically optioned car. Color matched wheels to the body, and this looks to be original paint. I'm not entirely sure. So I love these things, man. They had a different face than the later 356s. The later 356s, like that one over there. So look at that one, and then look at the face on this. It's a little more flat.
Always so gracious.
You know, it's a little more swept back, a lot more simplistic. You're missing some of the vents and the beehive indicators and the grab handle that's on the hood. This, you got a tiny little grab handle, you got your big old chrome bumper, but I love that they're laid back, they're svelte, they're smooth. The trunk lid isn't squared off like it is on the C's.
Yeah, see that? Because there it's rounded, and over here, you zoom in there,
Squared off.
It's got rounded corners. It's more squared
And
off.
also, the wheels are a lot wider. You get bigger wheels. You get a wider track. I like how those look. If I had the money, I'd buy one of those, $40,000, $50,000. But really, I want one of these because this is just. Oh baby.
All right, guys, here with Stuart. We just left the show, got back at the Tahoe. So, Stuart, what'd you think?
It was cool. I'm a bit disappointed.
How so? How so?
I was expecting there to be a wider range of years of cars.
Well,
and
they
I
go
think
from
that's,
they go from like 1905 to 75. So.
well, I think the biggest problem that we have with Concourse nowadays is exactly that. Is that we say, oh, we're only accepting cars up until 1975, when really we should be accepting a lot more cars, you know?
Yeah, because cars from the 80s, cars from the 90s are starting to be considered classic cars.
Exactly.
My 240 is a 95, and honestly, it's a classic car.
Yes.
It's hard to find parts for those cars. They're exceedingly rare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know some people might consider a 240 SX to be a little too modern to be a classic car, because if you look at the cars from the 60s, 70s, there's a definitive defining style for those cars. And cars from the 90s, I guess being computerized, they're still modern-ish in their design.
Yeah, and my other problem with Concourse is, the whole, you go from winga-dinga-dinga-dinga to...
Yeah, you go from the 60s, 70s, 50s cars to the 30s and 40s.
There was not enough winga-dinga there, but way too much...
Yeah, I would like to see... I think
you
they
know?
should start letting cars from, I mean, especially in 2020, cars from the 90s should be there. I should see a Supra there.
Well, that's why we have Radwood.
Yeah. So I think there needs to be need to start having concourse events from like 80s, 90s, 2000s cars. Maybe not
Well,
2000s,
because
but-
somebody's going to show up in the fucking shitbox Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Yeah. Well, they obviously only clean examples of those vehicles should be displayed.
A clean Oldsmobile Cutlass or a clean Chrysler LeBaron?
Yeah. No. Maybe not a LeBaron. I don't know. Give me a stink eye.
I can't Costanza you any harder.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna get some food. Where should we eat? We haven't discussed this. Where should we
Your
eat?
mama house.
It's like an hour away.
I know, but your mom does cook a really good dinner.
She does. She does. Anyway, we're gonna decide, and we'll just probably continue there, or we might just end the vlog here. So thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Check that video out. Check out finishlinefactory.com for all the stuff that we sell. Fittings, hoses, all kinds of cool stuff.
Make sure to
Shirts.
check out the blog.
Check out the blog. Stuart's one of our writers there, so he's got. He's our only writer, actually. So he is the writer.
Well, no, I'm enough for 2 people. So.
He's enough for 2 people, so we have 2 writers right here.
Yep.
So thank you for watching, and we're either going to jump to the food, or we're just going to end the vlog here. So see you.